Hi there, my name's Jason Webber. I'm here today to talk to you about making the most of legal deposit in the UK Web Archive. So, what is the UK Web Archive? Well, our main activity, of course, is collecting millions of UK websites each year and preserving them for future generations. The UK Web Archive is a partnership between 6 of the UK's legal deposit libraries. Here you can see our website, which is the way most researchers and users will interact with us. So one thing that is notable for the UK Web Archive is that we are an end-to-end service in that we use in-house teams to use all the functions of a web archive. So our technical team based in Yorkshire capture the websites and other online material. We store it on our own servers. We use our own digital preservation team and skills to make sure that we can keep this for the long term. We also have an in-house curation team and, of course, some engagement staff. So, what's the legal deposit in the UK context? So the main pillar upon which we do our work is the Nonprint Legal Deposit Regulations of 2013. This allows the library to take a copy of any UK digitally published resource. This includes websites and social media. It is worth noting that it also includes ebooks, online journals, online documentation. And we keep that and make it available at UK legal deposit libraries. However, we did collect websites before 2013. From 2005, we collected websites on a selective basis with permission of the owners. This now means that we have many thousands of websites that have permission from their owners to be publicly displayed, which is an amazing resource. In 2013, when the legislation came in, we widened our collecting to include everything in the UK that we could identify as being in the UK without the need to get the website owner's permission. And this results in millions of websites every year. This means that we have a mixed access model in that we have quite a number of our websites available from anywhere. This is a search screen from our main website, but it also means that you can at least discover what we have with our reading room material as well. In the reading rooms themselves, if a researcher wants to look, they do have to use our own controlled terminal. They can't use their own laptop, and there are often challenges with having to come to a library. The Web Archive is theoretically available at 9 locations, including one in Ireland, as you can see here. However, there are significant potential challenges for people wanting to use this as a resource. The most obvious one being the inconvenience itself of attending a reading room. That may not be obvious for a lot of people when they're dealing with web resources. They think that, and not unreasonably, that why can't they see that at home? And whilst it might be an inconvenience for people more local, it may be impossible for our international researchers to look through this collection if they have to go on site. And if you do come, you can't just walk in. There's a reader's pass required, which is forms, and you need to give proof of ID and things like that. And once you do look, you can't. Citation is currently Not ideal if you're in the reading room. It works perfectly fine with the material you can see from home, because you can copy and paste the URL very easily. But in the reading room, that's a lot more complex and something we need to resolve. So, how can we mitigate some of these issues? Well, we've got an amazing collection, and luckily we've got several ways that we're looking at improving this for researchers. So firstly, we've got a website that at least allows you to discover everything that we have, even if it's only available in a reading room. And this material can be seen through our website with these notices that say viewable only in library premises. And users can toggle between viewable online and our libraries as much as they like. But the idea is they can at least see if we have the material that they want before they attend. Something we're incredibly proud of is that we have hundreds of curated collections. These started way back in 2005, and we have a superb, eclectic collection of different subjects, about people, about events, on a range of topics. And just to show you one of the collections that we have, we collect around elections quite well, and this includes European parliamentary elections. We're fairly sure that these are kind of material that future researchers and historians are going to want to look at if they're going to tell the story of our time. So something that, again, we offer at the UK Web Archive that is not always usual in the web archiving world is that everything that we collect is indexed and is theoretically available to be searched. This does have the output that we do. If you put something in our search, then it has an incredible amount of things to look at. So search is something that we need to improve on, but the power of being able to search every word and not necessarily needing to know the exact URL that you're looking for is potentially fantastic and really, really useful for a lot of people. One way that we try to mitigate the fact that people can't view a lot of the material, the actual websites themselves, unless they come to a reading room, is to offer them information about those websites. So this is a set of data that was acquired from the Internet Archive by our colleagues at JISC, and we've made these into some secondary data sets. So this is data about the web pages that you can do lots of really interesting things with without actually viewing the sites themselves. For instance, this is a collection of postcodes that can be identified with a URL, and it's incredibly simple but immensely potentially powerful set of data. We've worked with researchers on this particular data set when they compared what they found here with company house information that is freely available. Using the same set of data, we have what we call the Shine service. So this is all the .uk's from 1996 to the spring of 2013. And this was a project that pioneered a lot of the search that we're leading to at the moment. It was only meant to be temporary, but it's endured because it's frankly so useful and still incredibly relevant. Through this, you can look for URLs or look on words, and one of the most useful features for researchers is that they can download a copy of the results as a CSV and adapt it or run scripts on it or do all sorts of things. It's, again, relatively simple but potentially incredibly powerful. One of the features that's quite fun is trends, and you can put in phrases, and it looks at the relative popularity by year of a given phrase or word, and you can compare those those phrases or words with others. Some caution needs to be used with this, but it's quite interesting to see how some items come in and out of popularity. I couldn't not mention the GLAM Workbench work that's been happening over the last year or so. This was an IIPC funded project. We're super delighted to have been part of it. The British Library's technical lead, Andy Jackson, represented us from our side and worked with Tim Sherratt and a number of other web archives around the world. Jupyter Notebooks really has a lot of potential for examining large amounts of data in a way that can be really accessible to perhaps non-technical people. And it can be used in a number of ways. I heartily urge you to have a look if you haven't done so already. Here's just one way of using it. This is a feature where you can compare one web page in different times and see what has changed. So here's the British Library website over a different couple of years. The full page actually gives you incredible detail of all the text and other changes that have happened during that time. Really, really, really useful and quite simple to use. One thing to note is that we have done some work with the Alan Turing Institute that is based in the British Library, and they used a tranche of our data to use really quite complex computational and mathematical models to look at how words have changed over time, the polarity of words. This is an amazing bit of work and kind of really illustrates how web archives are web archives are big data just waiting to be examined. And yeah, we would love to do more of this work in the future if we can. The final thing to say is that it's immensely important that the UK Web Archive has the legal backing to collect the Web Archive and keep it for future generations. This is, like all things at the British Library, a long-term endeavour. We're legally mandated to keep this material and we're funded to do so. And it's a absolute essential that we're able to do so, and that to not have to fear what might happen, at least in the short term. We kind of imagine that as long as the British Library is there, we should be able to maintain this material, and it's immensely important. I'd just like to point out a number of our colleagues who do other fantastic work within a legal framework. So our colleagues at the UK Government Web Archive collect all government websites. This is part of the National Archive role. They do amazing work. Do check them out. As well as our other colleagues at the UK Parliamentary Web Archive. They do fantastic work. Here are some links to some of the things I've mentioned. Do have a look, and if you look at nothing else, do have a play with Shine. It's pretty good fun, and we put out regular blogs. Do check those out. I hope this has been useful. I'm really hoping it kind of gives you an impression of one web archive and how we integrate with Legal Deposit.